Okay, as we don't have so much time, we want to do this panel very dynamic. I have some questions for you, but first of all, I want to introduce all of you. And here at my right, I have Dan Mitchell. He is the president of the Center for Freedom and Prosperity, a pro-market public policy organization he founded in 2000. With decades of experience at the Heritage Foundation and Cato Institute, he's an expert in tax reform, fiscal policy, and the economic burden of government spending. He holds a PhD in economics from George Mason University and has spoken in more than 70 countries. Then here we have Hiroshi Yoshida. It's okay? Yoshida? Yes, Yoshida. President of the Institute of Public Sector Accounting and the Free Economy Institute in Japan. He is an award-winning certificate public accountant and licensed tax accountant with a PhD in policy studies from Chiba University of Commerce. And then we have Iván Cachanosky, and he's an economist. He is from Argentina, analyst and director of the Master in Economics and Political Science at ESADE in Argentina. He holds master's degree in applied economics and in public policy and management, and is the author of El Camino Seguro de la Inversión, and he is a frequent commentator in national and international media. So thank you for being in the panel, and thank you all of you for staying till this hour. And we will open this panel of how to cut back government spending and attain financial stability. First of all, I want to ask you a question that I want each of you to comment on this question. In just a few words, what do you believe is the biggest obstacle to reducing government spending in your country?
I guess I'll go first. The biggest problem is people don't understand that spending is the problem. Most Americans and most politicians think that the deficit is the problem. Well, the deficit is bad, but tax-financed government spending is bad too. And unfortunately, until Republicans get back to the Reagan message of it's government that's the problem, which someone quoted that earlier today, I'm afraid we're going to just be in an endless spiral of more spending, more borrowing, more taxes, more spending, more borrowing, and it's never going to be solved.
Thank you, John. What do you think, Yoshi?
I think people forget about importance. For the example, why we pay tax. People consider it's a duty of us, but when we are, especially in the United States, we pay tax with our consent. And many people talking about balanced budget is very important. But why? Because children has no chance to give them our consent, to give their consent. It's a problem. To make balanced budget is very important from the point of democracy. It's a point.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Iván, what do you think?
Muchas gracias por la invitación. Voy a ir en español, dado que hay traductores, así no los torturo con inglés. Créanme que les hago un favor. Bueno, para responder la pregunta María, marcaría dos puntos. Uno es cultural, que creo que por suerte en Argentina está cambiando. Digamos, antes la demanda por un Estado paternalista de gaste, en Argentina estaba bastante instaurado. Todavía algunas personas no están. Pero creo que en lo que pasó en las últimas elecciones, eso empezó a cambiar. Incluso tenemos hasta la expresidenta Cristina Fernández de Kirchner que habló de la importancia del equilibrio fiscal, yo no lo puedo creer. La inversa de una pesadilla. ¿Qué pasó acá? Bueno, lo otro es, en Argentina particularmente, hay muchas partidas sensibles y eso genera una dificultad para bajar el gasto público. Si ustedes suman lo que se le paga a las jubilaciones y los que reciben planes sociales, hay personas que reciben plata del Estado pero no están trabajando, simplemente es una asistencia. Si sumamos esas dos partidas, es el 65% del gasto. Entonces, ¿cómo se vuelve políticamente viable ajustar el gasto público cuando el 65% tiene un fuerte componente social? Y ese todavía es un desafío muy grande en el contexto argentino.
That's right, fantastic. Okay, I will ask you individual questions so that we know your point of view. For Dan, many governments implement temporary spending cuts that are later reversed. What strategies can make fiscal discipline permanent? What do you think?
Well, if we can somehow clone Malay and make him president everywhere permanently, that might work. But in the absence of that, I mean, the only person who seems to live forever is Chris Lingle, because what, he's 120? I've looked at all the academic research on fiscal policy. That's what I've been doing for the last 45 years. And whether you're talking about left-wing economists at the OECD and IMF or academic economists, the one thing stands clear is that the only fiscal rules that work are expenditure caps. Like the Swiss debt brake, which is called a debt brake, but it's really a spending cap. Or Article 107 of Hong Kong's Basic Law. Now, whether that withstands Chinese interference now, who knows? Or the TABOR, the Taxpayer Bill of Rights in Colorado, which limits government to population plus inflation. Those are the only rules that have ever worked. And if you get a rule like that in your constitution, and you have justices that uphold your constitution, that's a whole separate challenge, then you can get good outcomes in the long run. Balanced budget rules do not work. Politicians use them as an excuse to raise taxes. You need spending limits, spending caps, that's the way to go.
Great. So, Hiroshi, on accounting reform, how could a dual balance sheet system change the way fiscal responsibility is measured?
Thank you. Adam Smith said, we will be wealthy with the system of private property system and segregation. Thank you. So, and in this case, Dan said balanced budget doesn't work. But people don't know this governor do balanced budget or not. Why? Because they treat our asset. Our asset means public good. Public good. Where it belongs to? How do you think? It belongs to public, us, taxpayers. In this day, our balance sheet, our government balance sheet, treat it belongs to government. How do we think? It's not here. It belongs to us. So it should be separate. And in the case of Japan, net assets treated as just a plus and minus, asset minus liability, but could pay in the case of very, very deficit, like Japan, maybe one before Argentina. Our children should pay it. So, the balance sheet should be separate to the permanent balance sheet and taxpayers balance sheet. So, we can understand very easy. It seems like a company's account. If they make a profit, we choose the he elects the president again, please make us loss, he should be fired. Fired. And it makes easy. And another point of view is that government always say it has no money. But from the taxpayer, what we want, we need performance. Did you get the project goal? You get the goal or not? It should be argued, or it should be taught, should be told to the taxpayer. It must argument. Performance is important, not only cost. If they don't tell about performance, it will be lost. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ivan, I have a question, continue what you have told us before. In high inflation economies, spending cuts can be politically unpopular. How can government implement them while maintaining social support? What do you think?
Está bien, me metiste en problemas. Lo que creo que pasó es que también no se explica solo económicamente, se explica políticamente, ¿no? Digamos, un cambio muy fuerte en lo que pasó en la población argentina, ¿no? Que se cansó de lo que venía pasando. Y creo que hubo un gran acierto del presidente ni bien asumió de explicitar la herencia, de dejar claro que se venía una inflación muy fuerte y esa inflación fuerte que era inevitable, que por suerte se pudo bajar rápido, pero que al principio fue elevada, hizo parte de la tarea, ¿no? Y acá entramos en esta discusión de cuánto fue motosierra y cuánto fue licuación, ¿no? Digamos, se hablaba mucho de la motosierra, está la motosierra, pero la verdad que al principio hubo mucha licuación, pero de una inflación heredada, ¿no? Y eso hizo gran parte de la tarea al principio. Si vos ves, o si ustedes ven cuánto se ajustó en los primeros 3 meses a los jubilados, y por eso hay tanto lío con este tema, da un 48% o 46%. Ahora, si esto en vez de verlo en los primeros 3 meses lo vemos en 1 año y medio, el ajuste es del 30%. Entonces, en la tendencia, lo que vamos viendo es que hay una motosierra que le va ganando de a poco a la licuación. Y esa tendencia creo que es lo importante. Ahora, ¿por qué la población resistió esto, que fue un golpe fuerte? Y bueno, los primeros meses están los famosos años de gracia, la famosa luna de miel, que como se dio un cambio político tan grande, esa luna de miel se extendió. Y creo que todavía se extendió más porque la campaña encima fue súper agresiva. O sea, vos estabas o a favor o en contra. Entonces, si estás explícitamente muy a favor o muy en contra, después defendes todo. Entonces, eso alargó la luna de miel todavía. Entonces, entre el cambio político, esa luna de miel alargada, creo que al principio se jugó muy bien con esto. Bueno, esto fue licuación y de a poquito fue creciendo la famosa motosierra.
Fantastic. So, Dan, this question was for Ivan, but I will make it to you. Maybe you can answer because we only have only 5 minutes more. Many people observing Argentina from abroad ask the following. What would happen if President Milei were no longer leading the country tomorrow? What are the chances that Argentina will continue on the path toward fiscal deficit reduction and the free market economy? What do you think Argentina needs to go on in this path?
Well, first of all, I would say what Milei has done that's important is as he's reduced the burden of government spending. I view balancing the budget as a positive symptom of spending restraint, and that plays into my first answer, which is that controlling government spending is the #1 thing we should focus on. Now, I think I read someplace that Milei and his vice president aren't good friends anymore. So if Milei suddenly got kidnapped by space aliens and disappeared, I don't think it would be very good news. In politics, you have to get lucky. So the US and the United Kingdom got lucky with Reagan and Thatcher. Argentina is very lucky today with Milei. You need these sort of one-of-a-kind visionary leaders who do the right thing for the right reason. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Malay is very, very healthy, and I am keeping my fingers crossed that somehow we figure out how to clone him, because God knows we need someone like that in America.
Okay, thank you. I will ask now, Iván, the same question. What do you think that Argentina needs if Milei is not here?
Yo ya estaba escapando con esa pregunta, ¿no? Bueno, si Milei no estuviera. Bueno, creo que por suerte, al hacer de la importancia del equilibrio fiscal un discurso político, eso quedó bastante metido, ¿no? Creo que si no estuviera, se seguiría discutiendo esto del equilibrio fiscal. Vuelvo que hasta Cristina habló del equilibrio fiscal, esto era impensado hace 10 años, ¿no? Entonces, parte de la batalla cultural creo que está hecha. Obviamente va a ser mucho más difícil cuando no hay un líder que está representando esto, pero se está debatiendo y vos lo ves en el día a día. O sea, si vos haces la historia para atrás, hace 15 años eran ¿por qué hay que hacer un ajuste fiscal? Hace 5 años era ¿cómo haces el ajuste fiscal? Y ahora es, bueno, ¿cómo evitamos los daños colaterales del ajuste fiscal? Y ese transcurso, de esas preguntas que yo la veía mucho cuando iba a los medios, te habla del cambio cultural. Bueno, ya está aceptado que hay que ir a un equilibrio fiscal. Ahora la pregunta es cómo lo hacemos eficiente en todo caso. Así que, para responder concretamente a la pregunta, sería más difícil. No sé quién agarraría la posta, pero en mi caso espero que sea ya aminorando un poco algunos modales.
Fantastic. And the change of cultural mindset, I think it's one of the most important. So, Hiroshi, on taxation, how can fiscal policy ensure that future generations are not unfairly burdened with today's debt?
Introduce my accounting system. And it will make easy to find the right person for right job, right president. Dan said it is lucky. I think in this situation, Argentine people is very lucky. There are Milei and there are his friend, libertarian organizer, organizing people, and well-educated people are like here, people like here. But for next generation, we need not libertarian. Even if he is not libertarian, he should recognize this situation, Milei's political action is good. For it, need this person is good. So it should be shown by accounting report, like company doing. Thank you.
Can I say one thing about this? One thing about the question to Hiroshi that I want to add: never tell politicians they can have more money. You do not cure an alcoholic by giving him keys to a liquor store. And if you look at all the fiscal consolidations throughout history, the guy who replaced Sturzenegger, I don't remember his name, but he pointed out they had the largest peacetime fiscal consolidation in history. That's wonderful. If you look at all the fiscal consolidations, you look at all that data, every time there's been success, it's been because of spending restraint. You raise taxes, Milton Friedman was right. Politicians will spend every penny they collect plus as much as they can get away with. So there should be a no tax increase position as part of our agenda.
Thank you so much. Can we do one more for? Okay, fantastic. Do you want to say something?
I'd like to introduce about the history of company accounting. Company was studied 1600 East India Company. In those days, there is no accounting system, right? In these days, accounting system. They can't count he can find the right person as a president. It's required 300 times, 300 years to get this position. In the case of democracy, we need time to change how to find the right person.
Thank you. So for closing, I have a question for all of you three. If you had to give this audience one key recommendation for achieving fiscal stability, what would it be?
Creo que si tuviera que dar una recomendación, voy a hacer una especie de autocrítica a fe de ratas. Javier Milei heredó un déficit fiscal de 4,5%. Cuando yo empecé a revisar la bibliografía de ajustes fiscales, no encontré ningún país que haya ajustado 4 o 5% en un año. Por lo cual mi creencia era que no lo iba a lograr. Así que si tuviera que dar una recomendación o algo es, bueno, cuidado que a veces se puede. Hay muchos bemoles en cómo se hizo, pero es el único caso que en un año logró un ajuste como del 4%. Bueno, a mí me sorprendió, entonces creo que un consejo es, bueno, no hay que perder la esperanza, porque Argentina para mí era un caso perdido.
Thank you. What do you think, Hiroshi?
Progress will be made by step. So, what we need is go.
Thank you. And then what do you think?
I'll just summarize very briefly the three things I said. Make sure you understand that the variable you're focusing on is the burden of government spending, not how it's financed. Number two, impose some sort of spending cap, somehow get like the Swiss debt rate into your constitution. And then number three, keep your fingers crossed that you get Javier Milei or a watered down version of him like Ronald Reagan.
Thank you so much. We pass to some questions.
Yeah, we've got room for 2 questions.
Okay.
We're there at the back and there at the front. So to the front first and then we go here.
Hello. I want to ask you all about the central bank, about money. Nowadays we are seeing a lot of governments in the world spending lots of money and money printing. So we are seeing nowadays big inflation rates. It's not only here in Argentina but also in the whole world. So my question is, how will we keep our money, our value? I mean, and what will happen in the future? I mean, are we going to close central banks? Are we going to return to the gold support money? Like the early 20th century. So how can we keep our value? I mean, are you supporting the close of the central bank, or you support maybe some gold return support in the money printing? I mean, so do you understand my question?
Well, I'll give a first answer to it. Like all good Austrian economists, I fantasize about the return to not the gold standard, but free banking, and let the market decide what is the best guarantee of the value. Tying your question to fiscal policy, there are 3 ways politicians finance their budgets. They tax money from us, they borrow money from us, and they print money. And in the long run, given demographic change, aging populations, falling birth rates, given the entitlement promises that politicians have made, I'm terrified that the inflation that we all suffered sort of in the post-COVID period, that's going to be nothing compared to the economic horror that we might have in the future. So how do we solve that? Beats the hell out of me, other than maybe Bitcoin or something like that will help us. But I'm not overly confident, because when push comes to shove, if politicians want our money, they'll crack down on Bitcoin and stuff like that in a heartbeat.
The gentleman at the back over there, close to the fire.
Testing. Okay, great. So I guess like we see this big disconnect in people's heads whenever the government like gives out money, whether it's Joe Biden claiming that he forgave lots of student debt, or other politicians that are sort of bragging about all the things that they've given to the people. Like, I guess, how do we get the voters or the normal citizens to understand in their minds that every time the government spends money, that it's actually us all collectively spending? Because it does seem like the only real way that government spending is going to be cut back is if the electorate decides that they want it cut back. So I'm curious, like, what your guys' thoughts are on that. Is it like, obviously we want education without indoctrination, so yeah, how do we go about doing that?
¿Puedo hacer un doble comentario? Primero Banco Central y después esto. Voy primero con lo del Banco Central y después voy después al fondo. Lo del Banco Central, académicamente me parece súper atractivo, creo que es un norte que hay que tener. Pero después en la aplicación tiene bastantes desafíos, sobre todo en el corto plazo. Les voy a poner un ejemplo. Hace 15 días en Argentina vencía deuda, no se pudo renovar esa deuda, se renovó el 75%, y ¿quién tuvo que salir a cubrir la diferencia? El Banco Central, lo cual obligó a emitir. Y ayer pasó algo parecido, se vencía deuda y se pudo renovar el 61%. ¿Quién tuvo que salir a cubrir la diferencia? El Banco Central. Es decir, que hasta que no acomodes la economía, si no tenés Banco Central, hoy Argentina estaría en default. Por lo cual, menos mal que no se cerró rápido. Yo creo que en el norte sí está bueno, pero ojo con el timing de cuándo tomamos las medidas. En cuanto a la pregunta del fondo, va vinculado un poco a esto de la conciencia fiscal, ¿no? ¿Cómo hacemos para que la gente entienda lo que pagamos de impuestos y todo lo que está gastando el gobierno? Te hablo acá por Argentina, creo que se hizo un trabajo cultural muy bueno, creo que ese es el gran aporte de mi ley, y los empezás a ver en detalles algunas cuestiones. Por ejemplo, si vos vas y compras cualquier cosa, que ya te dice cuánto pagás de impuestos, ¿no? De alguna manera están transmitiéndole al ciudadano, que en otros países por ahí es normal, pero en Argentina no lo era, mirá que vos estás pagando de la Coca-Cola la mitad de impuestos. Y mucha gente no lo sabía, ¿no? Y eso te lleva a toda esta pregunta de, bueno, ¿por qué pagamos tantos impuestos? Y bueno, porque tenés un gasto alto, y me parece que hay que bajarlo. Entonces creo que se están trabajando inteligentemente desde el gobierno muchos detalles para tratar de generar esta conciencia fiscal de que estamos pagando mucho, no de que hay que pagar más, ¿no?
Gracias. Thank you. Yo te quiero contestar una cosa sobre eso. Creo que esa responsabilidad también la tenemos nosotros como ciudadanos de concientizar a nuestros pares y concientizar también, o sea, ser parte de ese cambio y no solamente los gobiernos, porque justamente a través de una sociedad responsable y comprometida se pueden generar los cambios, digamos, en los gobiernos. Perdón, another one? Okay, thank you for your time, and this was the last one of today. Thank you.